Alright, welcome back everybody. We got another video here for us today. This one is from, I hope I'm saying her name correctly, Feli from Germany. I think I said it right. If I'm wrong, hopefully she says it in the video so I can correct it. This one is 20 German words American use all the time and their real meanings. So I'm really interested to see this one. I'm expecting to see like worst, you know, W-R-S-T, like bratwurst. I'm expecting to see that, but I could be wrong. So it's a little bit longer of a video, so let's just go in, hop into it here and see what she has to say.
You have definitely used these words before in English, maybe even on a daily basis, but did you know that they're actually German? Hallo, Servus, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Felicia. I'm originally from Munich, Germany, but I have been living in Cincinnati, Ohio, off and on since 2016. So
Ohio.
A few weeks ago, I made a video about 20 English words that we use in German, and a lot of them actually have a completely different meaning in German than they do in English, like old-timer, just to give one example, which...
I will say that when she started talking, it would be hard for me to say, wow, she's from Germany. She don't really have much of an accent, at least to me.
Refers to an old person in English, but to German speakers, an old-timer is a vintage car. Check out the video to find out about the other 19 English words that we use differently in German. But today I'll talk about the opposite, basically, so about German words that are used in English. There aren't nearly as many German words in English as there are English words in German, but there are actually more than you would think. And a lot of them are words that people use all the time, but they don't really know that it's a German word. And even I wasn't really aware of how many German words are used in English. So for me, it was super surprising every time I first heard someone use one of those words. Like, they're just saying something in English and suddenly I'm like, wait, what? You just spoke German? So for today's video, I made a list of 20 German words that are used in English, and I just picked the ones that are either used a lot or that I just thought were funny or interesting. But before we start with the list, I'd like to introduce today's sponsor, Skillshare, which is an online learning community that offers thousands of classes for creative and curious people. So there are a lot of video classes about photography, video making, interior design, and those kind of things. But you can also learn languages on there, German for example, if you want to,
don't know what she's
or
even
say. Learn more about entrepreneurship. And especially in times like these, when we're all struggling with new challenges and all of this uncertainty, it can be a great way to stay inspired or practice some self-care by expressing yourself creatively, like by taking a journaling or painting class, for example. I've actually taken a class called Simple Productivity: How to Accomplish More with Less, taught by Greg McEwen, and it was really helpful for me because I've been struggling with structuring myself and staying motivated these past few weeks. Maybe you can relate. And my biggest takeaway was to focus on what's essential to me personally and how I can prioritize that. So if you're interested in joining Skillshare as well, make sure to check out the link in the description below, because the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link will get a 2-month free trial of premium membership so that you can explore your creativity. And now here are 20 German words that are used in English. Let's start with one of the most known ones, and that is kindergarten. In German, we pronounce it Kindergarten, and it literally means children's garden. And even though
most known ones, and I had no idea, I'm in for a massive list here.
The word is used in a very similar way in the two languages, it's not 100% the same. In Germany, kindergarten isn't part of the school system, but it's more like a daycare. Kids can go there from the age of 3 up until they start first grade, but it's not mandatory for parents to send their kids to kindergarten, and there is no mandatory curriculum either. Some kids may practice math and writing in kindergarten, but it's not a class setting, and the focus is usually more on playing and activities like doing crafts, singing together, going on field trips and those kind of things. While in the US, kindergarten is the year before first grade, and it's part of the school system. That's why it's also called K-12, kindergarten to 12th grade. So the kindergartens usually...
I don't know if she mentions it or not, but we also had what we would call preschool, which was very similar to what their kindergarten is. I mean, it was still school, but it was a lot more artsy, craftsy, kind of like, you know, recess, take a nap. It was almost a daycare where they tried to start you learning for kindergarten.
Belong to a school and are a little more focused on academics. So same word but different meaning in Germany and the US. And what I find funny is that the German concept of kindergarten is what Americans also call preschool sometimes, while Vorschule, the literal translation for preschool in German, basically stands for the American concept of kindergarten. So it's somewhat switched. Some German kindergartens do offer a Vorschule the year before first grade to prepare the kids a little academically. I actually had no clue that Americans used this German word before I came here, and the first time I heard it, it sounded so funny to me. Gesundheit is what we say for bless you in German, and Americans seem to use it that way too. Especially among younger people, I found that they usually use it in a more funny way, but it can also be just used with a normal tone. The word itself actually just means health in German, so whenever someone sneezes,
I know what it is, but I didn't know how it's spelled. I didn't know how it was spelled. Kaput.
Just like Gesundheit, I didn't know that this word was used in English before I moved to the US. We spell it with 2 T's in Germany, but we pronounce it the same way, Kaput. And it basically has the same meaning in both languages. It means broken, damaged, or destroyed, as in my phone is kaputt, mein Handy ist kaputt. Or it can also mean exhausted, as in I went hiking for 8 hours today and I'm so kaputt. Ich bin heute 8 Stunden gewandert, ich bin total kaputt. And just like in German, where we say etwas geht kaputt, you also say something goes kaputt in English.
Yep. Doppelganger?
Another one which I love hearing.
I should know these if I would just look at how they're spelled and put 2 and 2 together.
In English is doppelganger, especially because it seems kind of funny to me that you would use a rather long German word that even has an umlaut. I mean, okay, in English it's usually written with just an A, but people could also just say look-alike or double in English. Why use doppelganger? Anyway, I think it's fun, and I think I first found out about this when I watched the American show How I Met Your Mother in English as a teenager, because that's like a whole theme on that show, to find all the main characters' doppelgangers.
I had no idea.
This one I just recently used in my video on alcohol culture in Germany and the US. And I have to say that it still feels kind of weird to me every time I use this word in English, or even when I just hear it, because it actually has a completely different meaning in German. Beer Stein, or just Stein in English, refers to a beer mug, traditionally made out of stoneware, but it can also refer to the more modern glass mugs, while in German, Stein means stone, and the beer mug is called Bierkrug. Some of my German viewers actually commented on my alcohol video and told me that in some parts of Rheinland-Pfalz, in the western part of Germany, people also use the word Stein when they refer to a liter of something. So they would say, ein Stein Bier bitte, 1 liter of beer please. It seems to be a regional thing though. I had never heard about this before. And I'm curious if there is any connection to the English use of the word, but I couldn't really find anything about this, so let me know if you know more about it. The next one is Spiel, and even though this has a different meaning than the word does in German, I really like the English meaning because we don't really have a German equivalent for it. In English, Spiel is a kind of speech, especially one that is long and spoken quickly and is intended to persuade the person listening about something. So this is often used in sales situations, and for example, you could say something like, oh, they gave me the whole spiel about why their university is the best in the country. In German, Spiel, capitalized, simply means game, and spielen means to play.
Huh, very interesting.
This one is not exactly a loan word from the German language, but it does have Germanic origins, and I included it in this list because I personally think that it sounds exactly like the German word Stuhl. But it's actually a so-called false friend because it has a different meaning in the 2 languages. Stuhl in German is a chair, while Stuhl in English is what we call Hocker in German. Kind of similar, but not quite the same thing. Gazunt. When Americans first used this word with me, I had no clue what they were talking about because I wasn't familiar.
I have one of those laying on my bed right there.
familiar with the word, and I also couldn't tell that it was supposed to be a German word with the English pronunciation, but now I know that Dachshund can be used in German as well, but it's actually more common to call the dogs Dackel in German. Literally, this compound word consists of Dachs, badger, and Hund, dog. A badger dog, basically. And this is because the dogs were traditionally supposed to crawl into burrows and look for badgers.
Oh. Wiener. Sorry, I stopped at the right time there. Immature brain sometimes. I had no idea. I mean, that makes sense. He's long and short to the ground, and oh, he's vicious sometimes, man. I got like 37 scars on my hand because he likes to bite the hand. So that makes sense. We also refer to him as a wiener dog.
English, this can also be used to describe a Dachshund, wiener dog, but it can also refer to just a wiener sausage, or it's also often used instead of penis.
Yep.
In German, we say Wiener. The German W is pronounced like an English V, and it usually refers to the sausage.
Wiener.
Wiener Würstchen would be the long version. It can also refer to a Wiener Schnitzel, which is also something to eat, or it can simply be used for a person from the Austrian city of Vienna, which is Wien in German.
Interesting.
Wanderlust. This is kind of an old-fashioned German word that we pronounce Wanderlust, and it's literally the desire to wander. So it means you want to travel. The word was used a lot in the literature of the Romantic era, but you can also call this Reiselust or Fernweh in German, which the last one is also an interesting word because it's kind of like the opposite of Heimweh, which is homesickness. So Fernweh pretty much means far sickness. This one is very similar to the German one, but it's not 100% the same. Angst, capitalized in German and with the German A, basically just means fear. And angst in English is also related to fear, but it describes a broader feeling of anxiety and apprehension. It's often used in connection with teenagers. Teenage angst is what a lot of young people experience throughout puberty, and you can also say you're feeling angsty in English. So in English it describes more of a general feeling, whereas in German, Angst haben means to be scared of something, and that's usually something a little more specific, like you're scared of the spider. The English meaning of angst doesn't have a good translation in German, but it could be translated with something like Existenzangst or innere Unruhe or Angstzustände. Kitch is a concept that's really hard to explain actually, but according to the dictionary, it describes
I've never heard
art,
this one.
decorative objects, or design considered by many people to be ugly, without style, or
I've never heard that.
but enjoyed
Know
by
that word
many
in
other
English.
people, often because they are funny. So you could say, his home is full of 1950s kitsch. It means the same thing in German and in English, and it's also pronounced the same. There's also the English adjective kitschy, which is kitschig in German.
Blitzkrieg, yeah.
This is a military term
I knew that
and
one.
describes a strategy of warfare that includes short and fast attacks. The term is often used in connection with World War II, but it actually had been used way before that. We pronounce it Blitzkrieg in German, and it literally translates to lightning war, because Blitz is lightning and Krieg is war. It's used the same way in both languages, and they even adapted the word Blitz as a tactic in American football.
Yep, that's the one I definitely knew
This
right off
seems
the
to
bat.
be a very popular word in the US. I've been asked about this so many times, and what makes it so special is that this concept doesn't even really exist in the English language, which is why there isn't an English word to describe it, which is probably quite a strong statement about the German culture. Schadenfreude consists of Schaden, which means damage or harm, and Freude, which means joy. So this is the joy that you feel when someone else gets harmed or fails. So not very nice.
Foosball.
All sports fans should know this one. Foosball
How did I not know that?
in German means soccer or football in British English. Foosball in English refers to the bar game, which we usually call Kicker or Tischfußball in German.
Wow, come on, Kyle.
This is another concept that doesn't have its own English translation, just like Schadenfreude, and therefore the German word is used in English and some other languages too. Americans usually say Zeitgeist. In German we pronounce it Zeitgeist, and this consists of the word Zeit, which means time, and Geist, which means spirit. So Zeitgeist is the spirit of the time, which describes what's going on culturally, religiously, and intellectually during a certain time period. Woodstock was part of the 1960s
like
Zeitgeist, for example. And in English, they even made it an adjective, which we don't even have in German, Zeitgeisty. Schnapps. This one I also mentioned in my video on alcohol culture.
I keep pausing. I apologize. I feel stupider and stupider every time she goes on. It's like, Geist. Okay. And then you start hearing how she's saying things, and you're like, oh, how did you not know that, you know?
Sure. In German, we spell it like this and say Schnaps, and it means hard liquor. In English, it's mostly used as part of the name of certain liquors, like peppermint schnapps or peach schnapps.
Yep.
Wunderkind in English, Wunderkind in German, and this literally translates to miracle child. Wunder is miracle, Kind is child. So it describes a person that is very clever or talented and becomes successful at a young age. One of the most common examples for a Wunderkind is Mozart.
Yeah, he's pretty solid. Poltergeist. I should have seen that
This
coming.
looks a little bit similar to Zeitgeist. Poltern means to clatter, and Geist means ghost or spirit, and this particularly describes a ghost that makes noises in the house and moves objects. Whether you believe in that or not is a different story.
Right. Schmutz.
And last but not least, the final word on my list is schmutz. This one is pronounced and used the same way in both languages, and it means dirt. And schmutzy in English or schmutzig in German means dirty. So this was my list of 20 German words that are used in English, and there are many, many more, of course, especially regarding food, like pretzel, bratwurst, or Hefeweizen, just to name a few examples. If you're interested in this, you should also definitely check out the channel Kelly Does Her Thing, because she has talked about German loanwords in English too recently. Let me know in the comments below what other German words you like to use in English and what you thought of the ones that I mentioned. Were there any surprises? Did you use them differently than what I described? Feel free to share your thoughts with me and with everyone else. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to check out my video on English words that are used in German as well, and also all of my videos on culture differences, of course. And if you're not a subscriber yet, make sure to subscribe to my channel for free. You can also follow me on Instagram, and if you want to support me even more than by subscribing or giving me a thumbs up, check out my new Patreon page, and if you want to, you can become a patron for this channel and get some exclusive behind-the-scenes insights or get to participate in a Q&A session with me. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next time. Cheers!
Well, that was interesting. There's a lot that I seen on there that I should have put two and two together, especially since I've been diving into Germany here on the channel, you know, Poltergeist, and yeah, I knew like that I always said Dash Hound, but I mean the Wiener Doll, you know, stuff like that. Interesting. Yeah, that was very, very interesting. I'm surprised I didn't know more, but yeah, hey, let me know what you guys think down below. How many of these did you know? How many of these did you not know? Leave a like on the video if you haven't already. Share it out to all your friends so everybody can join us here on this journey we're taking here. Like I said, comment down below what you think of it, and yeah, I appreciate you guys for being here. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.